What's up, everybody? I'm BJ Bergey. These are two bean bags. Which one did you look at first? The yellow, of course. Let me tell you why in a second. Welcome to Small Business Saturday. I'm joined by Allison Candell and Casey Pockets Quinn. Today we're going to talk to you about converting design and the psychology of how people interact with your website. And it's what we do for our clients on the daily. So I magically got these beanbags back, but let's talk about why the yellow was the first one and not the green. Is green your favorite color? Doesn't matter. Yellow got their attention. Can you tell me why?
It's the brighter of the two colors. It's going to draw attention, especially when you're going against something that is blue or a different color. It is going to stand out versus green, which is going to fall back. But also, yellow makes you happy. It incites a lot of different ideas and options to you, whereas green typically means money.
Exactly. Color theory, right? What's the brightest is always going to stand out. There's so much noise and there's so much, design in the world that people don't know where to look. Social media, you're scrolling. Am I looking at this? Am I looking at that? Which one is more likely to get your customers to look where they need to go? So your call to actions, your buttons on your website, the things you want people to see, click this to do this, free this, right? Mm-hmm. Book your service today should always be the brightest, the most chromatic, things that stand out to people that tell your customers who really don't know what they want in the world that this is what they need to do.
Yep.
And an impressive website isn't just about it looking good, but it's inspiring your audience to take that action that you want, correct?
100%. So let's be real. You have a computer in front of you. You have a laptop, you have a desktop. Regardless of how big that screen is or how tiny that screen is, you have about 3 seconds if you have a keyboard in front of you to see what you want to see and go where you need to go. I don't have time in my day. You don't have time in your day. You certainly don't have time in your day.
That is sure fact.
But let's think about the other side of that fence. Mobile devices. 2015, mobile searches outperformed desktop searches. Now I have a cellular device. Pretty cool, right? I have like a second and a half, if I'm lucky, to make a decision before my thumb takes an action. That goes for every device, no matter how big or how small, because the attention span is just not there. Let's be real. People are using that cellular device throughout their workday, right? They're using it at home. They're using it in the bathroom, right? People are moving. So when they have a need, that need needs to be met. Getting people to your site with traffic, whether paid or organic, is part of the puzzle. Yep. The other piece is they have to convert. If they don't, they bounce off your website. So how do you get people to see through all the noise? We limit color palettes, right? We put bright converting colors where they need to go and not muddy them with too much of the other colors. There's a lot that can be done for your website, but also there's spacing. Things have to be easier to read and easier to digest. Allison, tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so ideally with a website, as you said, we do want to keep it clean. We want to have it, think of Apple in that case. You want something that's white, that's going to have something that's going to pop on the side. Additionally, from a digital marketing standpoint, we do want to follow either an F pattern or a Z pattern above our fold.
So let's talk about those patterns, right?
Mm-hmm.
So a Z pattern we know is, the Z shape.
It's the way we read. So you're looking left to right.
Top to bottom, left to right. But with a website, you're cutting across the center. And what's the best thing we can do on that path?
You can have either an image, some kind of image, a video, but most definitely some kind of call to action, whether that is going to be a statement that you want to say, or you're going to have it rotating and give options for coupons for the pages you want to push the most, because that's what people are going to see instantly.
If you're providing a service, if you're providing, a brick and mortar storefront or somewhere people can go, you best believe that your call to action sit on that Z pattern and nowhere else.
If you like this content and you're trying to grow your business, follow me at Lance Bachman and Lance Bachman Digital on Facebook. LFG, time to grow.
And you said you have what? On a mobile device, less than 2 seconds to catch somebody's attention. On a desktop, about 3 seconds. So what are those things that people, the consumers, are looking for that they don't even necessarily know they're looking for? What are those factors that are going to make the difference between them staying or bouncing off your site?
Well, I'm glad you asked that, Casey. So there's a lot that goes into the customer journey, and each customer journey is different depending on what you bring to the table in your website, right? So there's no cookie cutter answer, but you have to put yourself in your customer's shoe, in your client's shoe, right? How did they get to the page? If it's your homepage, chances are it's general ideas about your brand, or it's your brand that got you there. Educate them, give them ways to get to the other pieces and get them where they need to go. If they landed on a page, let's say that talks about roofing installation, right? If I type in roofing installation and get your website, that means SEO is working or the ads are working, right?
Correct.
if I land on that page and you try to talk to me about how, grass, we also offer grass services, lawnscaping services, right? You're going to lose my attention because you just kind of baited and switched me. Not to mention your page is probably talking about too many different things. So it's all about being clear and decisive. And when they finally get to the page, I'm not reading. You're not reading. Most of the world does not read. They want to be force-fed content. That's why you see places like Forbes and editorial websites.
That's why video's getting so big now.
100%.
Because people just want to see things quickly, instantly. Images are great. That's why I come back to the colors again.
Big
Having
bullet
that big
points.
color right there,
Yep.
people are going to click on it.
Big bullet points, big headings, things that people can power skim, and then if it interests them, they will go through it. So instead of polluting your web pages, especially on mobile, with content up top, hit the pain points, hit the value adds, hit the call to actions, and give them a way to get in contact or employ you or employer services, right? Whether that's a contact form, whether that's a phone number, but you make the tap targets big and bright, much like the yellow beanbag. This is where I want you to tap. This is where I want you to click with your mouse, right? This is all stuff that seems so obvious when you say it out loud, but a lot of people go miss because, hey, my website looks good. I don't care if it's the Mona Lisa of websites. If it doesn't convert, what's the point of driving traffic to it? The only people who reserve that right for, or have that right reserved for them, are big name brands that can break the mold. If Pepsi wants to come out of the woodwork and do a website that is, this 3D navigation bar that breaks the mold and does something different, that's fine. Pepsi will never falter, right? We can all agree on that.
Absolutely.
It happens for every big name brand. But, most of the world is not a big name brand. They have, reputable businesses, but you can't bait and switch people with what they already know online, right?
Yeah.
Casey, you and I have talked before about some Gestalt theories like the law of pithiness, right?
Yep.
So that dictates that, people like things in structured, ordered grids. They use their past experiences to dictate their future experiences. That means we're taking e-commerce. You go to Amazon or eBay, you shop a certain way, and you expect to be able to filter a certain way. If you bring an e-commerce website to the table that doesn't follow loosely what that is, your clientele is going to bounce. Yeah. They've been educated by the rest of the world.
While I have two designers with me right now, I mean, what I see from the outside looking in is, first and foremost, our development team is A1. And the experience that they create for customers when they come to us for a website, it all begins with open communication, right? And we obviously, we work with so many different verticals, so many different businesses. You can't know every single thing about that client's business that they're going to want to portray. So I guess what I want to ask you guys is, what questions should the business owner, when they come to us for a website, what should they be asking themselves about what they want to get out of their website, the psychology behind how this all works?
We have to put ourselves in the customer's shoes, right? There has to be planning before any execution. A lot of people like to make a pretty picture, like to make a pretty website, and then refine it. But who laid out what the customer needs to see? What are you trying to sell? What is your ultimate goal? How many things are you trying to push through? You can overstimulate your end users. What is your bread and butter? What is your loss leader? These are things that need to be answered before those decisions are made. Because strategically, you can use analytical data, metrics, and all this stuff to reorganize the page. And then what are your wishes, right? You want to add something new to the mix or feature a new product? You have no metrics on it because it's coming to market now, right? So you have to take a risk a little bit. So you have to prioritize this information. Then start doodling out or wireframing out what you want your website to look like. Then make the call to actions pop from there. So there's a lot they need to be asking themselves about their clients. And I'll shoot you straight. Not everybody knows their client base. They think they do, but sometimes the facts tell a different story. I had a guy who swore up and down his demographic was, Caucasian males, right? Because they were the guys buying auto parts and stuff. But no, it was, Hispanic females of the same age group, because ultimately those were the people that were going on the website and purchasing. We had to change the marketing strategy. We had to change the conversion paths and stuff to better that end user. So look at the metrics, ask yourself the questions, is this what I want, or does this truly work for my customers? Because there is a big difference between those two.
And from that same point, once you get into the design side of it, you can actually create a persona. Design allows us to then properly lay it out the way we need to, based off of the information and the data that we've collected from it.
And when it all's said and done and you think you did the best job you possibly can, I tell everybody this: pull that desktop website up on your computer, push your chair back 10 feet, 15 feet, look at it from across the room and squint. What stands out to you? If the answer is nothing, you failed.
Something needs to change there.
If it's several things, you failed. There should be one thing that takes the cake. And for us, it's the main call to action. It's usually the phone number, because if somebody came to your site looking for a service, looking for something in particular, you want to contact them. And there's no replacement to picking up that phone. Yeah, the name of the game is getting people to where they need to go with the path of least resistance. That means less clicks and no bait and switch. Give them exactly what they asked for and tell them exactly what they need to do to employ you, or to come to you, or to get your services, or to buy from you, whatever that call to action may be. Right? So whether, you're trying to stand out with your own branded hat, or you're trying to stand out with colored hair, it's all about the name of the game and how it affects your website. I'm BJ Bergey, filling in for Bernie. We'll see you next time on Small Business Saturday.